Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone, welcome to episode 65 of the International Pentagon Challenge. Now, it's been quite a while since you guys will have last gotten an update. I mean, the reality of the situation is the last episode you saw was recorded yesterday in real time, but we have this magical thing called Football Manager that allows us to forward time pretty damn fast. So, the last time you guys will have been graced by my presence was when we got hammered 6-1 by Italy, Fabio Cannavaro's Italy at the 2030 World Cup. We don't talk about that game anymore. Anyone mentioning it in the comments will be banned. I'm just kidding. Okay, we then obviously had the Cup of Nations qualifiers, and you know, when you're a kind of nation like Egypt, unless something goes catastrophically wrong, you should be able to qualify for the African Cup of Nations with ease, and we did exactly that. We've also had some decent friendlies and some decent results. A 1-0 win against Nigeria, a 2-1 win away at Mexico, a 2-1 win against our rivals in Morocco, 4-0 win against our rivals in Algeria, 2-0 win against Guinea, and then a very disappointing 2-1 loss to Mali. And I really wanted to book the Mali game in because they obviously won the last African Cup of Nations. And as you can see from the match stats, we were all over them. We went 2-0 down. You know, we needed a bit of time to wake up. And then we basically went 4-2-2, 4-2-2-2, and it's always difficult when the AI plays with the 3 strikers, especially when you have to switch to a 4-2-2-2, because when your fullbacks bomb forwards, you've only got 2 centre-backs up against their 3 strikers, which is hell, absolute hell to deal with. But we were still pushing, we were still huffing and puffing, we were by far the better team. 3 clear-cut chances, we hit the post once or twice as well, and Mohamed Abdelraouf missed a penalty and had a chance to score the rebound and blasted it over the bar. So it was really just one of those games where it just seemed like nothing, absolutely nothing, was going right for us. For those of you who pay attention to detail may have noticed that we've got a new goal scorer among the team, and it is this guy, Rida Hamdi. So he's 23 years old. He's recently had a bit of a kind of attribute boost. He's recommended to me by my scouts, and while I always kind of keep one eye on the new upcoming players we've got, sometimes, you know, I tend to forget about some of them, and this guy's developed pretty well, so he's really come into the squad instead of Bahar Ali. Now, he's a very similar player to Hussein Said. He probably doesn't get in the starting 11 ahead of Hussein Said, but he's another good complete forward-esque type of option that can come off the bench, because really with the system we play, the formation we play, especially late on in games, we need someone who is more of a complete forward as opposed to someone who's a bit more lightweight like Saber, who really relies mainly on his pace. So glad that we've got Handy in, and he can, obviously he's very versatile as well, which is good for us. So yeah, that is pretty much it. In terms of our squad, someone has made a comeback, and it is Arsenal's Mohamed Kamel. Had a word with him before the start of this African Cup of Nations. Said to him, look mate, you're still young, come back, help us, help me achieve, you know, the African Cup of Nations so we can finally walk away from Africa. And there's no guarantee that we will do it, but we've got to give it a good shot. And he's decided that he wants to come back. And I'm really hoping he can get us a header or 2 from set pieces like he used to do, because that extra bit of quality might end up making a big difference. Now, you've got to feel sorry for Mohamed Hussein, he was really our ball-winning midfielder in front of the back too, and really helped us kind of reach the stage where we are currently at to qualify for the African Cup of Nations, But at the end of the day, I need the best 11 I can on the pitch. So welcome back, Mohamed Kamel. So in terms of our starting lineup, nothing surprising. Ramadan Subhi is, well, let's be honest, past it. He's really mainly in the squad for kind of last 10 minutes when you need an extra bit of technicality because his physicals really are gone. Mohamed Hani says goodbye to his spot in the Egyptian squad. Sayed Youssef comes in. You guys might remember him. Told you he joined Liverpool as kind of backup to Adil Ramsey out on the left-hand side. And I think that is pretty much it in terms of new players you guys wouldn't have seen before. But that is it. That is the plan for the African Cup of Nations. So really on paper, our squad isn't too different. But you can see from our ages, we're quite a few years older, so I'm hoping the extra bit of experience some of the lads have is what will make the difference for us this African Cup of Nations. As far as our group is concerned, we find ourselves in Group D. Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau and South Africa. Now, South Africa are obviously going to be quite a handful, but if we can get a win against them, it should cement us at the top of the group and hopefully go on to make our lives a little bit easier. We've already had one upset in Group A where Angola beat Algeria, which is really good for us because in a way our rival teams or the other Arab African teams are kind of bogey teams for us. But without further ado, let's forget about other results and focus on our own. We're up against Burkina Faso. We've played against them a lot. We know that Hassan Bande out on the left-hand side is their biggest threat. Let's go in and deal with him. Okay, here we go. So interestingly, Hassan Bande is actually playing up front. So we don't know what foot this guy uses. So now it makes me contemplate. Oh, he's turned blue. It makes me contemplate whether he's going to be looking to cut inside. Because usually when Hassan Bande plays out on the left, it suits Abderraouf as an inverted wing back because he covers that central space that the inverted winger's going to be looking to run into. We've got Hassan Bande up front now, but you know, he's not really a natural striker and he's 31 years old, and while he still plays for Freiburg, he's not exactly as pacey as he once was, so I think we can get away with a slightly higher line. Other than that, you know, our players are on paper miles ahead of the Burkina Faso team. We shouldn't overcomplicate things. We know that one of their weaknesses is their left back, so hopefully El Sayed will have a bit of a field day. They've got poor work rate, poor decision making, not very good technically, so we're going to look to press them up high on the pitch, and you know, we should be okay. Okay, team instruction wise, nothing out of the ordinary. We've stretched our own width because when you play against a flat five in midfield, naturally they are quite wide, so we need to be able to match them. We'll get our wingers man marking their wingers, and we'll start off looking to retain possession. Both wingers for us on attack. Abderraouf will stay on support just to give us a bit of solidity at the back, but Siam can go forwards and join in on the overlap with Ramsey. Here we go then. Let's get rid of the league table for now. We don't really need the league table, do we? National anthems have been sung. The referee's whistle has been blown. And, you know, fingers crossed, this is the year for the Egyptians to win an African Cup of Nations. Well, I mean, not just for the Egyptians, but for me, because if we don't win it this time round, I'm going to start to wonder whether or not Africa's going to turn into a bit of a kind of bogey continent for us. We should have scored there as well. That's one thing that really... Oh, Kamel! That was what I was talking about at the near post. That's one thing that really lets us down in terms of the current players we've got in this Egyptian squad. It's just the lack of composure at times I feel like we have. Anyway, so far so good. Pressing up high, playing with a high tempo, plenty of chances on goal. We just really, really need to make sure we take our chances. 5 minutes in, already a clear-cut chance. They're very, very narrow, our Burkina Faso. I know you'd kind of expect that, but usually when I come up against a flat five in midfield, they do naturally stretch wider. So it's very interesting to see what's going on here. So there we go. We are going to get rid of retained possession, and I'm actually going to reduce our width a little bit, because this is something that I kind of used to point out in FM17 as well. Sometimes it may seem counterintuitive to reduce your own width. Like when you come up against a narrow team, you want to play wider, which is something we do a lot when we come up against like 4-1-2-1-2s. But actually, when you match them narrowly, but you have attacking fullbacks, it creates space, loads of space for your wide fullbacks to overlap into. So if you've got the look for overlap shout on, it can sometimes help you go forwards that ways. And that's really what I'm looking to maybe consider doing right now. At least until, we get a goal or two. Because I am really wary that Burkina Faso here will park the bus, and come the last 10 minutes of the game, we'll find ourselves playing a 4-2-4 with two strikers up front, yet somehow managing to remain vulnerable at the back, it is a problem we've had with this Egyptian side. It's not, normally, the difficulty is creating chances, but with Egypt, and we even saw it against Italy at the World Cup, it's actually putting the chances away. It is literally just a wall of green right now, and we've been given a penalty. Now, Mohamed Abderraouf, like I said, in that friendly against Mali, his penalty was saved and then skied the rebound. So, please, you play for Barcelona, you should be able to score a penalty. Oh, and he scored the rebound. We probably need to take him off penalties. I'm not quite sure what magic happens in Football Manager, but as a manager, it's kind of my job to be aware of all this stuff. So yeah, basically, obviously, as his manager, I am aware that PSG have been coming in for him, and that could be playing tricks on his morale and whatnot, and could affect him in terms of scoring penalties. I'm not sure really, but yeah, it is a bit suspect that he's had two penalties in 2 games and both have been saved. Still is a bit disappointing that the one goal we have found, despite our dominance, has come from a penalty, but we'll take it. Yeah, needs to make sure he doesn't lose it. That's a bit of a risky pass there. That's obviously what we were speaking about earlier when we said when you take retained possession off, especially when you're playing with Mazzalas like we are, who have a license to try and play make. Sometimes it pays off like that pass from Ramadan, and sometimes it doesn't pay off like the misplaced one we saw earlier. But here we go. Ramsey uses his pace, whips the ball towards El Sayed. And I was going to say, that looked like a really impressive save from Coffee. But fortunately for us, El Sayed got the rebound. And given that we're 2-0 up, I think we will now drop our highlights down. It's been a good professional performance. I'm happy with what we've seen so far. And unfortunately for Burkina Faso, they've just been hoofing it to the lone man up front. And, yeah. Watch us concede now. Watch it go to 2-1, and I'll have to put it back on comprehensive. Not quite sure what this highlight is going to end up being. Oh. Wow. Okay. Wow. What? We were still saying Hassan Bandei's not really been useful. All they've been doing is bloody hoofing long balls to him. He had 2 centre-backs in front of him. No one fancy tackling him. Bloody hell. Football Manager raises my bloody blood pressure, man. Do those 2 defenders have the same surname as well? Zungrana. Oh my god, it's happening again. It is happening again. It's like I've bloody jinxed it. Right, okay. We've got pretty fast centre-backs ourselves. So I'm not really quite sure why they can't keep up with him. You could argue that actually Khalifa, who has 17 acceleration, 17 pace, there he is getting a yellow card now, quite conveniently, should be able to keep up with him anyways. He's not even doing anywhere near as much running as he is. Come on, let's get our 2-goal lead back and shut up shop. Had a lot of shots from outside the box, and we're not hitting the target. Like, for me, we shouldn't even be conceding goals against Burkina Faso, so it's disappointing. Disappointing. I really hope this doesn't end up being another tournament where we've had some great friendlies in the build-up, and then something... Oh, God. He tried doing a bit of a Zidane there, Champions League final, where it all goes wrong. We've had 5 clear-cut chances. 5 clear-cut chances. And it's 2-1. I'd be surprised if Burkina Faso have even had more than that 1 shot on target, which was their goal. And it was, credit where it's due, it was a really good finish from Hassan Bandei. It was from quite a distance out. Penalty, yeah. It was from, we said we would take him off penalties. Oh dear God, don't do this to me. I'm not sure I can even watch this, to be honest. If his, he's had a 3rd penalty saved, this guy. I didn't think we'd get another penalty. I mean, I was planning on changing our penalty taker. I could have pressed the change button that's newly implemented in FM18. Jesus Christ. Jesus. I hope that at the end of this tournament, I look back at this. I hope I look back at this at the end of the tournament, and after winning, obviously, and find this funny. Let's put Hussein Saeed on penalties. Come on, good position this to whip a ball into the box. We got plenty of people in the box, but it's cleared by Quedrago. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. And there we go. Finally, we get a goal from a set piece. So now we're going to just make changes. You see, I've got to go, like, it's almost 10:30 right now, and I need to go and take my cat to the vets for a checkup. So I'm I'm kind of running against time now. So that's kind of why I want the 2-goal lead. Okay, so let's bring him back. Drop him here. You don't need to bomb forward. We'll leave him there because he's had a pretty decent game. And he's just scored, so I'm not actually going to take him off. We've got retained possession on. There we go. So, key highlights, and hopefully, we won't concede from another Tony Pulis-esque long ball. Can we make it 4-1, though? I was going to say we can, but it was well defended there, actually. You'd probably expect Saeed to finish that off somehow, any day of the week. But we are reaching the end of the game. They've had 2 shots on target, Burkina Faso. We had a bit of a scare, but we've come through it in the end. I think questions need to be asked of both our centre-backs in terms of how we conceded the Burkina Faso goal. But, you know, that's life sometimes, and you do sometimes concede silly goals. And there we go. Egypt were never in doubt of losing this one. Hussein Saeed, as we can see, struggled to perform somewhat. Should have maybe finished 1 or 2 of his chances. Ahmed El-Sayed certainly had a good game. So did Hassan Bande. Unfortunately for us, Nigeria beat Sudan, so top Group C. And, yeah, you know, we'll certainly tell the boys a good win, boys. Well done. Don't want to be too passionate and let them get ahead of themselves. But there we go. That is it for this episode. El-Sayed is injured. Okay, he's only out for 2 days, so it's not the end of the world. Our next game is in 5 days, so hopefully he will be fit to face South Africa. As we know, kind of a nation who've recently been qualifying for World Cups and whatnot. I don't think they made the last World Cup, did they? Oh yeah, they did make the last World Cup. So again, they are going to be a very, very good side, and we're going to have to defend better against them than we did against Burkina Faso. And this guy is coming off penalties with his 11 penalty taking. Goodbye. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. See you next time.